Alright, what's going on YouTube? We're back with some more car stuff. Today, I got more E36 content for you. Basically, I got a multitude of parts left to install in this car, and then today, I'm gonna do another big order on parts. So basically, the plan for today is I'm gonna take this whole entire front clip apart. People who own E36s know that the entire front clip comes apart. It's very nice. It makes it easy for engine swaps and whatnot, but I gotta install a bunch of cooling parts, and most of it's on the front of the engine, so I thought it would be easiest just to take the whole front clip off, basically the bumper, crash bar, lights, anything that's in the front valance in the way. Then we're gonna go through the interior, so that's gonna be prepping for tomorrow. I'm gonna install the cooling parts like the radiator and everything else we have tomorrow. I still have to finish the shifter. It is in. Let me move this. So new shift boot. This is the short shifter off the Z3. I have to install the, where are they at? The rest of the bushings in there. Got a new knob for it. But in order to fit those bushings in, you have to drop the transmission, not all the way out of the car, but just a little bit because they go on the side of the linkage and you can't otherwise fit them in there unless you do so. So we're gonna do some prep work for both of these jobs and then we're gonna bang it out tomorrow. So you should stay tuned and see it all in this video to come. Okay, so for the E36, the bumper is very easy to take off. Usually you have these little molding pieces. When I bought my car, mine didn't have it. There's a long piece right here that bends around the corner, and then I believe there's a little bit shorter of a piece that goes right here. But basically there's two bolts here that bolted straight up to the mounts on the crash bar, and I believe it pulls right out. So I'm gonna put you on the tripod. Okay, so it looks like when I initially looked at it, I didn't see any of the bolts in the fender liner, but there's one in the corner on both sides. So I'm gonna take those out. Okay, on my setup, it looks like there's a couple self-tappers in the bottom. They're Phillips heads. So I'm gonna take those out, but I jacked it up for a sec. Really, let me see if I can get a light in here. The only thing it looks like is there's like a couple bolts. Like I said, mine has self-tappers in them. There's a bolt right there on the inside, and then mine has two self-tappers on each side. So I'm gonna take those out, and then it should pull right off. I was gonna take the entire front clip off, but I forgot with the new headlights. The problem is, obviously I didn't wire in a quick disconnect or anything of that nature, so there's like one or two, you know, the ground and the live, that are definitely still wired into the body harness. So, removing the headlights, I would have to snip one of those and rewire it, which isn't a big deal, but I think I'm just gonna hold off on it until I get a little quick disconnect so I could just, you know, pin it, unplug it really easily, and still have everything work when I, you know, plug it back in. It's not a big deal, because really the only thing I was thinking of it for was I kind of wanted to get a deeper look at the car and just see what's going on. I mean, all of these hoses are gonna be replaced, the radiator is gonna be replaced, the fans, the thermostat housing, all new sensors, everything of that nature. I'm gonna take the windshield wiper fluid out, Expansion tank can be bolted up where it's supposed to be. Got a brand new one of those. I mean, a ton of cooling parts just to refresh it all. So I was gonna take the whole front clip off. We'll have it off for a couple of days, and I could just, you know, have everything opened up, bolt it right in, and then do the radiator last when I go to put everything together. But for the time being, I'm just gonna prep it some more. I'm gonna drain the coolant right now. I'm gonna take off the bottom radiator hose. I'm gonna drain the coolant so that we can start taking a bunch of shit apart, and I'll see you on the tripod. Okay, so I'm just starting to realize how much piping the BMW actually has. I mean, the piping off the expansion tank, this runs all the way from the left corner, all the way back there to the back of the engine. I mean, you have the top radiator, bottom radiator. So I think what I'm gonna do is I got the pan under here right now. I'm gonna pop this one off to start, then we'll get everything out of the expansion tank. The last hose off, but it's JB welded. So I'm about to break it real quick. There we go. Definitely not gonna be able to see in there. It's way too dark. But you can see in here, and this is why we're going through the entire cooling system. I mean, this is literally rusted out. So all of it's gonna be replaced. So I was draining everything, you know, all the lines. I mean, literally look at the radiator, all rusted out. So that's why it's kind of important to get all this done and upgraded at the same time, because we definitely got to fix all these issues, especially if we plan on drifting it. As soon as the bushings are in this car, or not even the entire bushings, just the new lower control arms. I mean, this car is definitely drift ready after these cooling parts are installed. So definitely gonna be upgrading a lot. The only thing I got to pick up to really have the cooling system dialed in like a drift car, or just even, this car is definitely gonna be more of a street car, but gonna track it a lot as well, is this clutch fan will do as well right away, but I definitely am gonna order fans for it tonight. Probably wouldn't be a bad idea to get more visibility once we take the manifold off, because then we can look at a lot of these other parts, clean it up while it's off. And I think I'm just gonna throw it on a tripod, work for about a half an hour before I gotta leave, and then we'll pick it up tomorrow. I think I'm gonna call it a night on the prep work, because I need to get some stuff to flush the system. Plus, I just don't have the time to really do anything else tonight. But I'm gonna go ahead and push this in, clean up a little bit, and then we'll pick it up tomorrow. Alright, we're picking it back up. What's going on, YouTube? As you saw yesterday, I prepped everything for the installs. I guess I'm gonna get the boxes. I'll bring them out here. We'll go through what we're about to install today, and then we'll get right into it. Alright, so I just took the 4 bolts off the pulley and the fan. Ty's gonna pull the tensioner right now so we can pull the belt off. I just realized we have to take this off anyways because we have that part right there.
So yeah, I just took off shit right now all by myself. I literally had to look up the diagram because Cam couldn't figure it out.
Bro, why are you about calling out people right now? Mr. I hold the camera.
just put the lower heat range thermostat in there. There's a little arrow or a dimple on the top. Make sure that points up. Clean this the best you can. Ours is still, you know, obviously has the sediment in it, which we're gonna flush out, but put the new metal housing on.
We're gonna flush out whatever.
New gaskets. Installed the new thermostat in there, bolted back up the new housing. About to switch over the pulleys, the old one, the new one. Throw the belt on, reassemble the fans, and then we'll probably move over to the radiator and plumb it all. Hope he doesn't fucking whine anymore. Damn belt. That lighting. New belts in. Gonna throw the little piece that holds the fan blades back on. It's counter.
I know, I'm trying to fucking loosen it on, but...
Trying to loosen it on. Okay, so both belts are on. Serpentine belt. Got the whatever holds the blades, whatever you'd call this for the fan. The AC belt is on. Never had one on here, so we just threw one on. You know, hopefully it doesn't shred it because there's a little bit of chip on this pulley right here. And we don't have one on hand. But we'll find out. So we'll find out, but maybe the car is AC, so that would be another plus. We're gonna reinstall the fan and then get right to plumbing up the radiator. All right, so Ty's grabbing the radiator out of the box right now. Just reinstalled the fans. Got everything else tidied up. Should have plenty of space in here to drop this bad boy in.
Just hit everything on the way down, right?
Yeah, that's a weird fucking design.
Yeah, I think before we fucking drive it, we need the other one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Is it? I feel like it's not sitting in the hole over there. This one is definitely in the hole. Is that one in the hole over there? Yeah, that's got like 3 more fucking openings left in it, so let's spare it. And there was bolts in the bottom of them too. So just remember to also make sure you there's grommets right here on the bottom. So I took them off the old radiator because the Mishimoto one didn't come with it. But boom, temp sensor in, grommets in. Now it sits higher and it's way more tight. To be honest, I wouldn't even rather. I'm about to just order 2 new ones. And I mean, it's not moving though.
I mean,
well, yeah, we act like we're about to drive this car like that. I'll fucking order one tonight. Okay, so we had the camera down for like 10-15 minutes because we're trying to, you know, kind of forward think here. The expansion tank on these cars sits in a really sketchy place, and there's no mounting for ours because there's a big shroud piece that goes here and it covers all this up, and then it bolts up right under the neck of it, and it holds it right here. Now this hose, obviously we would zip tie it or tie it back right there, but that's real sketchy. This is real sketchy. It's very close, and honestly it's not pleasing where it looks. So we're trying to kind of spitball a few ideas. This is gonna definitely be deleted in the future, but we could delete it now as well. I think we'll go with something smaller if we even need washer fluid. We live in Vegas, so it's not really a big deal. You can keep the washers, just have no fluid. But this is definitely big. They make relocation kits that are like almost like a soda can size, and it relocates back to the corner, which is better. So we can move this here. Obviously the hose we have wouldn't fit. We'd have to get more hose, which is fine. But I'm just trying to think of where the best place to put this is. Tyler was looking at this side over here, but the intake goes right here. Right now it has a stock intake. With a pod filter it'd be a different story, but typically this whole area is intake. So Ty was thinking here, and then we just have to relocate the hose that goes to the engine, but I'm not sure yet. We're gonna spitball some more. All right, so what we decided to do, we're gonna mount it in the stock location. One, because we need to get the system running and flushed and running and flush it again. So we have some time to kind of figure it out. We don't have the hose on us to reroute. We could easily go to the store, but it's kind of late. and that hose down there would need to be rerouted and replaced as well. So we're gonna mount it up in the stock location. Just ripped up some cardboard. We're gonna take some metal, and we're gonna figure out a mount. We'll show you what we come up with. All right, so we're gonna call it a night for now because we need to figure out a little bit more bracketry. The mounting of this is kind of just, I don't know. I don't want to mount it there, neither does Tyler. We want to relocate it, and even if we do mount it there, we don't have the metal on us to make the right bracket. So we're just gonna call it a day, and we'll pick it up tomorrow. So, peace. All right, so after sitting here and editing and going through all my clips for this specific video that I'm about to drop, the one where we go through the whole entire cooling system, which you guys will already have watched by the time you see this clip, I realized that I'm missing a couple of clips that were pretty important that I needed to show you guys. There's a bracket that I didn't include at the end of this, but it'll be right after this clip right here. So stay tuned, subscribe to the channel, like, and enjoy this clip. Alright, so when looking in the engine bay, the previous clip you just saw, we were talking about mounting the bracket over here in the stock location. However, that just was not going to work for us. So I ended up making this bracket right here, and the reservoir drops right into it. It sits on the rim right there, and then I reinforced it right here on the wheel well, which we'll definitely have to revamp this in the future when we go do a bigger fan setup, and then we can use the shroud and mount it over there. But for right now, you just reroute the line right here. The stock line would go down there, routes right up to the bottom, and then yeah, goes right on the hood, and it's good to go.